من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله وعلى أهل بيتك المظلومين. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، يا رحمة الله الواسعة ويا باب نجاة الأمة ويا عبرة كل مؤمن ومؤمنة، يا غريب يا شهيد كربلاء، فيا ليتنا كنا معكم سادتي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. I begin in the name of the Almighty God, the Compassionate, the Merciful, the one who has created everything in utmost perfection. And may His peace and blessing be upon His pure Prophet, the peak of humanity, the symbol of humanity, the peak of His creation, the Holy Prophet Muhammad. And upon his beloved progeny, the Ahlul Bayt, especially the savior of our time, Al-Imam Al-Hujjah, Ajjallah Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. May Allah hasten in his reappearance, inshallah. Respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ودخل المدينة على حين غفلة من أهلها فوجد فيها رجلين يقتتلان، هذا من شيعته وهذا من عدوه، فاستغاثه الذي من شيعته على الذي من عدوه، فوكزه موسى فقضى عليه، قال هذا من عمل الشيطان إنه عدو مضل مبين. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Illuminate your hearts and minds and this majlis with a loud salawat. So in the past nights we talked about, in the history of humankind we see turning points, different turning points that it changed the destiny of all humankinds. And today we are after that turning points. And the biggest turning point that is still not reached is the turning point of the reappearance of Imam Mahdi. He will come and he will change everything, and he will turn this world into a place that is full of just. But Shaitan doesn't want this to happen. We talked about that. Shaitan, his biggest enemy is Imam Zaman, because if he comes, he will destroy, he will remove Shaitan from this earth. On the other hand, we see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want it just to happen suddenly. He wants us with our free will to change this world. He wants us with our own free will to change this world. Like in the time of Imam Ali, in the time of Imam Hossein, and right now in the time of Imam Zaman. We see this. But we can't do it without any knowledge. We study the history. We study the history of Imam Hussein, and we reach a narration from Imam Baqir alayhi salam, which in this narration, we see that Imam Baqir alayhi salam says that in the time of Imam Hussein, there was supposed to be a divine relief. There was supposed to be faraj. But it didn't happen because the people killed and martyred Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So, and we talked about it, it didn't suddenly happen. It was from backgrounds. They had some backgrounds. They had some difficulties. They had some problems that this happened. They didn't suddenly wake up and want to kill Imam Hussein. They had some backgrounds, they had some issues, and because of that, they killed Imam Hussein. What was that? One of them, those problems that we talked yesterday, was knowing your Imam. من مات ولم يعرف إمام زمانه مات ميتة جاهلية. A brother told me yesterday about this hadith that we usually talk about this hadith only when we want to debate like Ahlul Sunnah or other schools of thoughts. We talk about it and we tell them like, who is your Imam? Man mata wa lam ya'arif Imam zaman. Who is your Imam this time? Or who was the Imam of the first Khalifa, the second Khalifa? We talk in that time. But we don't apply it on ourselves usually. But we have to do it. It's for us. Man mata wa lam ya'arif Imam zamanihi mata mitatan jahiliya. He dies in the way of ignorance. He dies without nothing. He doesn't have anything. He doesn't have his fasting. He doesn't have his prayers. He doesn't have his hajj, his charity, nothing. Even the faith of other 11 imams, if he has those, but he doesn't believe and he doesn't know his imam. Believing in something, we believe in our imam, but sometimes we don't know him. We know he's the 12th imam. But what attributes does he have? What traits does he have? It's another topic that we can speak, inshallah, in other points. That was until today. We talked in the past few days. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. For today, let's start with a question. A very valid question, a very important question that you have to have this. Brothers and sisters, you have to have this question in your mind. When you read history, when they talk about history, and we see the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, we see Imam Ali alayhi salam with those qualities. What qualities? We see him, first of all, his father, his mother, Abu Talib and Fatima bint Asad. They weren't any ordinary persons. We see his iman, faith. أول من آمن بالله والرسول was Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. That's not a very small quality. That's very big. That's a very great quality. What else do we see? We see he is the gate of knowledge. أنا مدينة العلم. Prophet says, أنا مدينة العلم. I am the city of knowledge. وعلي بابها. But Amir al-Mu'minin, he is the door of the city. If you want to enter, you have to go through Imam Ali. If you want to see the knowledge of Prophet, you have to go through Imam Ali. That's another quality. Another quality that we see him as the same place as Harun was with Musa. We see Amir al-Mu'minin is with the Prophet. أَنْتَ مِنِّي بِمَنْزِلَةَ هَارُونَ مِنْ Musa. What does that mean? We look in the Quran, the ayahs that talk about Harun and how he was for Musa. We see that Harun was was Prophet Musa's right hand. Prophet Musa would get help from Harun. Harun will help him. So we see Imam Ali is the same as Harun was with Musa. What other that we see? We see this verse in the Quran, what we call the verse of wilaya, the verse of authority. What does it say? It says, إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. Chapter 5, Surah Ma'idah, verse 55. We see that Amir al-Mu'minin, like Prophet, Prophet has the authority. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the authority on us. Amir al-Mu'minin exactly like them. Not different. It says, إِنَّمَا وَلِيُّكُمُ اللَّهُ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا. The same. He doesn't put a difference between them. The same authority that Prophet had, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. You have it too, Ya Ali. What other verses that we see? We see the verse of Ikmal, finishing the deen, finishing Islam. How is it finished? It is finished by Amir al-Mu'minin. Surah Baqarah, verse 207. Chapter 2, verse 207. It says, Al-Yawm akmaltu lakum dinakum. After the Prophet talked about Qadir, talked about Imam Ali, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then says, Al-Yawm akmaltu lakum dinakum. Not when the Prophet came, not when he talked about fasting, praying, other practices. When he talked about Amir al-Mu'mineen, اليوم أكملت لكم دينكم وأتممت عليكم نعمتي ورضيت لكم الإسلام دينا. Right now I am pleasured. Right now I am satisfied that after Amir al-Mu'mineen, Islam is a religion. Right now. Before that, it wasn't a religion. Right now, it is finished. Another verse that we see, وَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَشْرِ نَفْسَهُ ابْتِغَاءَ مَرْضَاتِ اللَّهِ وَاللَّهُ رَؤُوفٌ بِالْعِبَادِ. The day that Amir al-Mu'mineen slept in the place of prophets. They wanted to kill the prophet. They wanted to assassinate this prophet. And this verse is so beautiful. The story behind this verse is so beautiful. It's so significant. Jibreel and Mikael were in the heavens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks them, you know that malaika, angels, don't have desires. They are just aql. They are just intellect. They don't have desires. They are not like us. They just obey Allah. Angels are like that. They are created like that. As we have desires and we have intellect. So if we are better, we put our desires away and we go to the path of Allah, we are going to be better than angels. And on the other hand, animals only have desires. They don't have any intellect. So if we put our intellect away and we don't obey Allah, we are going to be worse than the animals. So the angels, they don't have any desires. And Allah asks them, Mikael and Jibreel, the two best angels, asks them that one of you have to die earlier. Which one will accept to give his life to the other one as a gift? Which one will you accept? Mikael and Jibreel looked at each other and they said, none of us. We don't want to give our lives. We want to live more. None of us. Look, they didn't know the meaning of giving. They didn't know the meaning of gifting to others. They didn't know that. And Allah says, go down on earth. And it was the night of Laylatul Mabit. At that night, when Amir al-Mu'mineen slept in the place of the prophets. It was in that night, Mikael and Jibreel looked at Amir al-Mu'mineen, that he is giving his life for the prophet. And they learned from Amir al-Mu'mineen. Look, Jibreel and Mikael didn't know that they can give their lives. They didn't know this meaning, that right now it's so easy. Is giving your life good? Yes. We know this meaning. If forgiving good? Yes. But in that time, angels didn't know. And Amir al-Mu'mineen taught them with his act that he slept in the place of the Prophet. They learned from Amir al-Mu'mineen. Look what attribute, look what quality that Amir al-Mu'mineen has. Other hadiths that we have, hadith ثقلين إني تارك فيكم الثقلين كتاب الله وإسرتي. It's about Amir al-Mu'mineen. Hadith Kisa, it's about Amir al-Mu'mineen. Amir al-Mu'mineen is Aynullah, Wajhullah, Nurullah, Udhunullah. The question is, with all of these qualities, despite all of these qualities, why did they put Amir al-Mu'mineen away? It's like you have gold, you have this treasure, but you choose another thing. You throw that treasure away. You go, no, I don't want that. Why? Just think of it. Anybody has an answer? Just think about it. Why didn't they choose Amir al-Mu'mineen? Desires? Shaitan? Good. Other answers, sisters? No, brother? Why did they put Amir al-Mu'mineen on that time? They didn't choose him. For the dunya? Ah, ahsant. Mm, ahsant. All of these were correct answers, but I wanted to find another answer. The answer is that we see in that time is that even in this time, people, they don't care that much about themselves and they underrate themselves. They don't pay attention to themselves. They don't value themselves. What we call, they undervalue themselves. Their price is way higher. But they say, no, we want the slow one. For an example, we have children here. If you give and hand them a bag of chips, first of all, you hand them your key cards. And then you have a bag of chips. And you give them the bag of chips, they would give you the key card. Because what is more important for them? It's the bag of chips. They want that snack. They look at that snack more valuable than that key. Which the difference between is 100,000 times more difference. But they don't understand. They don't value that thing that they have. Our values is way higher than this. We have higher values than this. For the verse that we have in the Quran, what does it say? Surah Baqarah, verse 216. It says, "Asa an takrahu shay'an wa huwa khayrun lakum. Wa asa an tuhibbu shay'an wa huwa sharrun lakum." Sometimes you like something, you want it, you think it's good, but it's bad for you. Why? Because you think your value is for that. You think this is good, but your value is way higher than this. You're more, what can we say? Precious for that. Your value is way higher than that. And let's have some examples in this time, in this world that we have. We see sometimes people want to fit in a group of friends or in a society, a community. But for that, what do? They put their values away. They put their hijabs away. Why? Because, this group right here, group of friends, if I go and I have a hijab, they'll make fun of me. I want this group. I want to be friends with them. Your value is higher than them. You're putting your hijab away because of them? Or for brothers, you work all day, all week, but you don't have time for your family. This dunya is more important than your family. This family will be the ones after you that will respect you, that will remember you. Do you think your children are happy of that? That you don't have any time for them? Who is Razzaq? You're not Razzaq. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Razzaq. He's the one that gives you money. Yes, you have to work, but exaggerating that. Going out of hand. Some people go crazy. If I don't work, I don't have money. Yes, you have to work. I'm not saying that, okay, no more work, only family. You have to be in the middle. Khairul umur awsataha. In the middle. Have time for your family. Your children will not be happy after this. Parents, your children will not be happy if you put 24/7 only on jobs. You think they will be happy because you're making money. You're doing a good thing. You're making money. But they want time, not money. They want time with you. They want time with you. And so, what's our value? What is our value? What is our price? What price tag can we put on us? Is it $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million, $1 billion? Is that our value, or is it higher? Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam says, "Laysa, innahu laysa la'anfusikum thamanun illa al-jannah, fala tabi'uha bidunih." Your price is only heaven. Especially us. Your price is only that. Your value is that. Don't sell yourself for underneath that. You sell yourself for this dunya. We see some people that because they want to have a better income, they go do haram incomes. They go do haram jobs. They sell what they shouldn't sell. They attend what they shouldn't attend. Just for the pleasure of this dunya, they attend some majalis that is haram, just for only 2 hours. Just that they can taste something that is better. They sell their nafs, they sell their souls for this dunya. That's not correct. What are you doing? Your price, Amir al-Mu'mineen is telling you your price. Telling you that you are worthy for more than this dunya. You're worthy, your price is Jannah. Don't sell yourself. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Please, brothers and sisters, please step forward one more time. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you the opportunity and invite you the tawfiq to go to Karbala, which each step that you come forward. Sisters, please, همه یک قدم لطفاً بیان جلوتر. انشالله که بتونن همه زیارت کربلا برن و یک قدم اونجا نزدیکتر بشن به ذریح و قبول باشه زیارتشون. صلوا علی محمد و آل محمد. In history, we see some people that they sell themselves lower than their prices. The first one that we see is Talha. Talha was a good companion in that time. He was a good companion for the Prophet. Until the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, he was a good person. Even in the time of Amir al-Mu'mineen, after Uthman was killed, the first one that pledged to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali, was Talha. But what happened? He wanted more. He just wanted a little more. Amir al-Mu'mineen said, no, I won't do this. In the time of Uthman, in the time of Abu Bakr, in the time of Umar, it was different. They had their own plans. I don't know how. But in my time, I go with justice. What is your value? I'll give you that much. No more, no less. I'll give you exactly what you deserve. He said, no, a little more. I'm your family. He was the cousin of the Prophet. I want a little more. I'm your family. I expect more. He said, no more. So he went against Amir al-Mu'mineen, and he was the cause of the war of Jamal. He went talked to Aisha and Zubayr. He talked to them that we have to go against Amir al-Mu'mineen. He's doing bad. He's not caring of us. We have to remove him. So they were the cause of Jang Jamal, the war of Jamal. Who? Talha. The person that was the companion until Amir al-Mu'mineen. In that time. He didn't know his value. Others that we see in the time of Imam Hossein, the commanders of the group of Umar ibn Sa'd, they sold themselves with only 30,000 dinars. They sold themselves. They said, we will go with Umar. Why? Because they give us more money. Or they give us the city of Ray. We're going to be good commanders. Imam Hussein, he's going to die. We're going to kill him. He doesn't have this dunya. Our value is more. We want more money in this dunya. But what did they do? They lost everything. خسر الدنيا والآخرة. Not that they only get anything in this dunya, in that dunya they lost everything too. And I told you about this challenge on the first day. I want to challenge you. And I want you to ask yourselves, because you have to do this in this time. Until before the Imam comes, you have to ask yourself that, what's my value? I talked about 30,000 or 300,000 dinar equals $6 million or even more. Are we in this situation? Can I handle not getting this $6 million just for sitting in my house, not going with the imam? Okay, I won't go against the imam. That's for sure. I'm not going against the imam. But I'll be silenced. I'll just sit down and not do anything. Just sitting down, not talking about anything, not acting upon it. Just $6 million. I'm not going against the imam. I'm just sitting in my house. That's it. Ask yourself, please ask yourself, that am I worthy? What's my value? Let's ask, what is my value today? And because we undervalue ourselves, some consequences happen. When we look at history in the time of Imam Hossein alayhi salam, we see that on the 3rd of Sha'ban, Imam Hussein reached Mecca. And that day, from Kufa, they started to send letters. They started to send letters to Imam Hussein. Sulaiman ibn Surad, Wahab, Muslim ibn Awsaja, and others. They started to send letters. And they say 12,000 letters were sent to Imam Hussein. 12,000, that's a lot of letters. Today, just for an example, 12,000 people text you. That's a lot. 12,000 people want Imam Hussein to come. And some of those letters were grouped letters. What does it mean? It means like 10 people underneath that letter, they signed it. It's one letter, but from 10 people. So that means more people wanted Imam Hussein to come. 12,000, some say 18,000. They wanted Imam Hussein to come. And in the middle of Ramadan, after they all sent the letters, Imam Hussein sent it who? Muslim ibn Aqil to Kufa. After 20 days, he reached Kufa. And for there, at that time, he was 2 months. He stayed in Kufa for 2 months. Until the 9th or the 8th of the Hijjah. Until that time, almost 2 months, he was in Kufa. At that time, when he reached Kufa, the first thing that he did, he went to the house of Mukhtar al-Thaqafi. He stayed there. Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, I think we saw his series of videos that he has. And we know his story. He was one of the big people, one of the big figures in that time. So Muslim goes to his house, and all of those people in that city, in the city of Kufa, they start and come to Muslim and want to pledge to him, want to pledge to Muslim. Almost 20,000 people come and want to pledge to Muslim, and they pledge to Muslim. The governor of Kufa at that time was Nu'man ibn Bashir. Who was Nu'man ibn Bashir? Nu'man ibn Bashir, he wasn't that much furious. He wasn't harsh. He was against Imam Hussein. He was against Muslim. He was with Yazid. But he wasn't that fast. He was a very smart guy. He was very intellect. But he didn't want any problem. He says, okay, they're pledging to Muslim. What should I do? 20,000 people are pledging. What can I do? In this city, everybody wants Muslim. So when he finds out that they're pledging to Muslim, he has a sermon. He takes a sermon and he says that, okay, ittaqullah, obey Allah, don't do this. This is bad. Just don't do it. Don't pledge to Muslim. You're going to make problems. That's it. He didn't say, no, this is wrong. We don't want that. He wasn't very that harsh against them. But the extremists at that time, those that were extreme and were with Yazid at that time, didn't like Nu'man. Ya Nu'man, you have to be strong. You have to punish them. You have to execute them. You have to imprison them. Do something. And they called Nu'man mustad'af. You are weak. We don't want you. Nu'man said, if I'm weak, let me be weak in ta'at Allah, in the obedience of Allah, not in ma'asiyat Allah, not being against Allah, not obeying Allah, and being strong. I want to be okay. I know Imam Hossein is right, and they want to pledge to Imam Hossein, but because of Yazid, I'm not going to say it out loud. Let them do whatever they want. But they didn't like this. They didn't like this opinion. So what did they do? They sent those extreme people, those that were against Imam Hussein, they sent a letter to Yazid that take away this Nu'man. We don't want Nu'man. At that time, Yazid was in extreme difficulty. That what should I do? Who should I place in the place of Nu'man? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Amen. So he asks his advisor, a Christian advisor he had. His name was Sarjun al-Rumi. And he was the advisor of Muawiyah too. He was that close to Muawiyah that some say Sarjun controlled Muawiyah, not Muawiyah asking him. He was that close. So he goes and asks Sarjun, a Christian from Rome that was an advisor of Yazid. He asks him that what should I do? Who should I place in the place of Nu'man? Who should be the next governor of Kufa? Sarjun says, and at that time, Yazid was angry of Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad at that time was the governor of Basra. A city almost, if we want to go with a car, almost 3 hours until Najaf. Almost 3 hours, 4 hours until Najaf. From Basra to Najaf with car or more. So he said he was at anger with this with Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad, and he didn't want Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad. Sarjun, he was very smart. He said if Muawiyah would come back alive and he would tell you and talk about the next governor and give you advice, would you hear him? He said, of course, he's my father. Why shouldn't I hear him? He takes out a letter that was from the time of Muawiyah. At the end of his time, when Muawiyah was dying, he wanted to put Ubaydullah, the governor of Basra, he wanted to put him the governor of Kufa. And Yazid, he chooses that. So he puts Ubaydullah in the place of Nu'man. He removes Nu'man and puts Ubaydullah in that place. So Ubaydullah becomes the governor of Kufa in that time. When he reaches Kufa for a little amount of time, he didn't know what to do exactly. So in that time, Hani ibn Urwa, one of the companions of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, one of the Shi'as, he uses to visit. He was one of the greatest figures of Kufa. He was the leader of his own tribe, Madhaj tribe. So he goes and visits Nu'man. He goes and visits Ubaydullah. But because of that announcement that they had, that everybody knew where Muslim was, and now Ubaydullah was here to kill Muslim moved from the house of Mukhtar. He was in the house of Mukhtar. He moved from the house of Mukhtar to the house of Hani ibn Urwa to be safe. And he was hidden in the house of Hani ibn Urwa in that time. So after that, Hani didn't visit anymore. He didn't visit anymore to the castle of Ubaydullah. Why? Because he was threatened. He was scared that maybe they would find out where Muslim is. And he told them that I'm sick. Ubaydullah ibn Ziyad had one servant that he chose as his spy, and nobody knew him. Nobody knew him. He told this servant, his name was Ma'aqil, a servant of Yazid, a servant of Ubaidullah. He gave them a little amounts of dirhams, 3,000 dirhams. In that time, each 10 dirham would be one sheep. He gives that much money to him and tells him that go and find where Muslim is. Go find him. We want Muslim. We don't know where he is. He was hidden in the house of honey. And so find him. We can't find him. 2 times Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad goes to the house of honey, but he can't find Muslim. He was hiding. And Ubaidullah ibn Ziyad couldn't believe that Muslim ibn Aqil is in the house of Hani ibn Urwa. Why? Because Hani ibn Urwa, he used to visit Ubaidullah. So he said, he's a good guy. He visits me. Why should Muslim be hiding here? 2 times. The first time was to visit Hani. Hani said, I'm sick. So the first time he went to visit him, and they couldn't find Muslim. The second time, Shaykh, he was also another companion, but he was the spy of Imam Hossein. He was on the team of Imam Hossein. So Shaykh, he also gets sick, and he's in the house of Hani. And again, Ubaidullah comes, and he can't find him. So for 2 times, he can't find Muslim. Ma'qil, because nobody knew him, he goes into the masjid. He enters a mosque, masjid, and he enters this masjid. He sits down. It's the time of prayer. After prayer, some Shi'as start talking that, yeah, Muslim is in the house of Hani, and we want to go and get pledge from him. They talk about Muslim, and he hears that, okay, there's something at that gathering. So after everybody goes, one person stays. He's still doing nawafil, he's still praying. So he waits until that person finishes his prayers. He goes to him. He starts talking that, yes, I'm from Sham, Ma'aqil, the spy of Ubaidullah. He goes and he wants to talk to him. What does he say? He says, yes, I'm a person of Sham. I'm in Damascus. I just visited. I heard that Muslim is here, but I can't find him. I'm Shia. I'm the lover of Ahlul Bayt. I'm the lover of Imam Hossein. Please let me know where Ma'qil is, where Muslim is, so I can visit him. I want to pledge to him, and I have this money, 3,000 dirham. It will help him. So he starts to talk and talk and talk. And that person, he was a Shia. That person, that companion, says, okay, but I'm still not believing you. Pledge to me. Pledge to me, do bay'ah to me that you're not lying. And pledges to him. So he takes Ma'aqil to the house of Hani. And he goes there for a few days. Ma'aqil goes there for a few days. And he learns everything. Every name. Where Muslim is. Who is his companions? Who are giving pledges to him? He learns everything and tells to Ubaidullah. I want to tell a secret after this. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The secret of this is that person that took Ma'qil to the house of Hani, and he found out where Muslim is. Should everybody come forward again? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Everybody, please, a little step. Sisters, please work with us. One step. یه قدم بیاید جلو لطفاً. به خاطر امام حسین انشاءالله همگی کربلا اونجا زیارت کنیم امام حسین رو با رضایت امام حسین. هر قدمی که میارید جلو یه قدم به سمت امام حسینه، یه قدم به سمت امام زمانه. صلوا علی محمد و آل محمد. The secret is that person that told Ma'qil the place of Muslim, he talked about it. And Ma'qil, because of him, learned the place of Muslim is that he, after this, became one of the shaheeds of Karbala. We're not talking about, in this conversation that we have, we're not talking about Sunnis. We're not talking about kafirs. We're not talking about non-Muslims. We're not talking about those that loved Yazid. We're not talking about those that didn't like Imam Hussein. We're talking about those that were the Shia of Imam Hussein. They had problems. They had problems, and they sometimes were the cause of Imam Hussein's death. Yes, the enemies are one cause, but sometimes from inside we get more affected than from outside. The enemies that are inside, they don't know what they're doing. They don't have knowledge, but they do something incorrect and it destroys everything. If that person wouldn't take Ma'aqal to the house of Muslim, it wouldn't happen. Ma'aqal wouldn't know. Ubaidullah wouldn't know what a Muslim is. And this would never happen. Why? Because he just trusted Ma'aqal. The verse that I recited in the beginning is about the story of Musa. Everybody, if you want to bring the page 387 of the Holy Quran, and let's recite these verses and let's talk about it. So, Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala. So, we talked about Imam Hussein's time, Ma'aqil and Muslim. Let's talk at that time, in the time of Prophet Moses. And what, in that time, what happened? What was the situation? So we say, in what happened is وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةِ. Whoever wants to see, page 387, verse 15. Surah Al-Qasas, verse 15. وَدَخَلَ الْمَدِينَةَ عَلَى حِينَ غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ أَهْلَهَا. Musa, he entered the city when between Maghrib and Isha, in that time where nobody was paying attention. عَلَى حِينَ غَفْلَةٍ مِّنْ أَهْلَهَا. In that time, nobody was paying attention. فَوَجَدَ فِيهَا رَجُلَيْنِ يَقْتَتِلَانِ. He found two people, that they were fighting and they wanted to kill each other. يَقْتَتِلَانِ, two people. هَذَا مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ وَهَذَا مِنْ عَدُوِّهِ. One of them were the Shia, were the companions of Moses. The other one was against him. The other person that was fighting was against Moses and the Shia. He was on the side of Pharaoh. He was on that side. فَوَكَزَهُ مُوسَى. Musa, he wanted to defend his companion. So he struck him with a fist. Just a fist. That's how strong Musa was. He struck him with a fist. فَقَضَى عَلَيْهِ. That companion of Pharaoh, he died at that same time. He died at that same time. قَالَ هَذَا مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ. This was the act of Satan. Imam Rida explains that not this hitting was the act, because the Prophet doesn't do anything that is related to shaitan. What was the act of shaitan? It was this fight between them. The fight between the Shia of Pharaoh and the fight between the Shia of Musa's. This was because of shaitan. Shaitan on purpose did this. إِنَّهُ عَدُوٌ مُضِلٌّ مُبِينٌ. Shaitan is a very strong enemy. قال ربي إني ظلمت نفسي فاغفر لي فاغفر له. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa asked Allah that, Allah, I oppressed myself. And Ma'mun asks Imam Rida that, what does this mean? What does it mean that he did dhulm to himself? Does the Prophet do dhulm to himself? He says no. Imam Rida answers no. It means that I entered this city and I don't know anything. And I shouldn't enter this. So help me get out of this situation. قال ربي بما أنعمت علي فلن أكون ظهيرا للمجرمين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because of this strength that you give me, this ni'mah, this blessing, help me. So what happens? فأصبح في المدينة خائفا يترقب. He waked, it was the next morning, he waked in the city And he was scared that Pharaoh would know him. He was in disguise. Nobody knew that this was Prophet Moses. Nobody knew him. Only those that were secret, only those companions that were secret knew that this was Prophet Moses. And Prophet Moses, in the day, he was with Pharaoh. At the night, he would help his own companions. So only small groups of companions know who Prophet Moses was. And the Pharaoh wanted to kill Prophet Moses, but he didn't know Prophet Moses was in his own castle, in his own house. So this was the situation. فَأَصْبَحَ فِي الْمَدِينَةِ خَائِفًا يَتَرَقَّبُ. He was scared that his disguise would go undercover. فَإِذَا الَّذِي اسْتَنْصَرَهُ بِالْأَمْسِ يَسْتَصْرِخُ. Again, that same person that he helped the last day, today he wants help. He's asking him for help. The same situation, he's fighting another person. قَالَ لَهُ مُوسَى إِنَّكَ لَغَوِيٌّ مُبِينٌ. But what's the problem with you? Why do you want me? There's a problem with you. Don't fight that much. So he was angry. Prophet Musa was angry at his own companion. فَلَمَّا أَنْ أَرَادَ أَنْ يَبْطِشَ بِالَّذِي هُوَ عَدُوٌّ لَهُمَا. Prophet Musa, okay, he was angry at him, at his own companion. But he wanted to help. So he wanted to attack that enemy. But at that time, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى, the companion of Moses, he said something that his disguise went undercover. What did he say? He said, قَالَ يَا مُوسَى أَتُرِيدُ أَنْ تَقْتُلَنِي كَمَا قَتَلْتَ نَفْسًا بِالْأَمْسِ. Do you want to kill me too? Because I was the reason that you got angry. I am the reason that you are scared right now. Do you want to kill me too? Like you killed the person yesterday. So the secret got exposed. The secret that this is Moses got exposed. Now that enemy knows this is Moses. He saw his face. He went and told Pharaoh that person that is in your own castle, he is Moses. He is Prophet Musa. Why did this happen? Because his secret got exposed. The secret was exposed in that time. That's why. That's the reason. And for Imam Hossein and for Muslim, that's the reason why he found out where Muslim was. Because the secret was exposed. Today's problem for us community is that we can't keep secrets. Just like that time, this problem that we have is not new. It's for 14 centuries ago. They couldn't keep their tongue. This tongue sometimes puts a problem in your life worse than your acts. Just this tongue. You talk in a situation that you shouldn't talk. Whether it's a religious one or it's about your personal life. Let me give you some examples. A spouse gets into a fight. A husband and a wife gets into a fight. The husband or the wife, they go talk about their spouse to others. They talk about their secrets in their life, their problems in the life to their mother, to their father, even their children. They say, yeah, your dad, he has this problem, he has that problem. And they talk about their own secrets. They tell their secrets to others. Yeah, your mom, she's the fault of this. She's why she caused this. That's the problem. They go tell their moms. They go tell their children. They go tell their neighbors, their friends, the community friends. They gossip about that husband. And that has some consequences. Children, they come to their parents and they tell them some secrets. They go to their father. Father, I have this secret. I have this problem. Please don't tell my mother. Please keep it secret. The next day, the mother comes and she tells the secret to the son. Yeah, you have this problem. I know you have this problem. Your father told me, yeah. And that becomes a difficulty. The children, they don't trust you anymore. Yes, A parent, if he or she wants to tell the other parent about the problem, they want to solve it, they can do it, but keep it as a secret. The child doesn't have to know. Why do you tell him? Why do you tell her? Keep it as a secret. He's telling you a secret. He's putting his trust in your hands, and you're demolishing it. You're destroying it. You destroyed his secret. You destroyed his dignity. He's going to have trust problems. He's going to have trust problems. That's one of the problems. Other problems in the community. Why do we see this sometimes? A person has finance problems. He tells a person, another friend of him, he tells that, I have a finance problem. I want help. And he tells that, I don't want anybody to know, just between me and you. That same day, the main topic of that community is his problem. Is her problem. Is that family's problem. Brothers, sisters, he wanted it to be a secret. Why do you expose it? First of all, we can't ourselves. We have this problem. We can't keep secrets. We like to tell them. That's our first problem. Keep it to yourself. Why do you want to tell to others? The second one is when we tell somebody else, that other person goes and tells to others. So there's two big problems here. You might ask, Ya Shaykh, okay, what should I do? What should I do? It's a problem. Does it affect anything? What's the consequences? What's the problem? First of all, if you want to be a good community, you have to keep the secrets between you. Second of all, this goes forward to religious things. I don't know why this happens, but sometimes we have secrets in our deen, in our Shia. We have secrets. Others can't handle what we say. Can't handle the beliefs. The Prophet says, Amir al-Mu'mineen says, other Imam says, that our amr, our words are sa'abun mustas'ab. 2 times. They are difficult to others to understand. You have to have a good heart to understand it. And we see that. A speaker has to come, a religious speaker has to come sometimes, speak about one small difficulty for 10 days. Why? Because it's hard. You can't, it's very hard to sit in the heart. Sa'abun mustas'ab. It's not that easy. And that gets exposed. If we know, for an example, I'm going to give some examples. Like the talk of Qamazani that we have, they do on the day of Ashura. I'm not talking if it's right or if it's wrong. The thing that they do in Karbala. I'm not talking about if it's right or if it's wrong. People can't handle sometimes. Okay, they can't handle. Why do you put on social media? That's our problem. The main problem. Some marajah say, okay, itself, it has no problem. It's just like you're hitting your chest. If it doesn't cause big diseases, if it doesn't cause big harms, there's no problem. Do it. But the problem is it goes on social media. You put on TV, you show it to people. And then they say Shia, they are very violent. They hit themselves, all of the places of blood. That's Shia. That's the problem we see. That's the problem that we see. We expose others in some other ways. We say, okay, this person is with revolution. Okay, he got exposed. He's not with revolution. He's Shirazi. He gets exposed. You're not going to invite him anymore. You're not going to his house anymore. He's Anjumani. He's with those groups. You're not going to invite him anymore. That's the problem. Why do you expose? Okay, you find out that he's in some situations, some groups. He likes those. Why do you expose him? Don't expose him. And this problem that we have is one of the causes that the faraj is delayed. They go to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala They go to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam and they ask him that, They ask him that, what about Faraj? They were talking about a communication situation, and the talk goes towards Faraj, relief. And they tell Imam Sadiq that when is that? When is it going to happen? Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, he says something. He asks them. The first question that he asks is, أَيَسُرُّكُمْ هَذَا الَّذِي أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ? You really want the Faraj? Do you really? قالوا نعم. Everybody said, yes, of course we want Faraj. He asks them that, أَفَتَخْلِفُونَ الْأَهْلَ وَالْأَحِبَّةِ فَتَرْكَبُونَ الْخَيْلَ وَتَلْبَسُونَ السُّيُوفِ? Are you in this situation? Will you put behind your families, all your relatives, would you put them behind and you would go and fight with us? قالوا نعم, إي والله, we will do this. We will do this. Imam Sadiq, we love you. We love the Ahl al-Bayt. We will give our lives for you. We will die for you. We will do this, yes. And then Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, I asked about something. We Ahl al-Bayt asked about something, but you didn't do it. And that thing was easier. It was easier than fighting. It was easier than putting your family, your relatives behind you. What is it, Imam Sadiq? You didn't tell us anything. He said, yes, I told you this. I told you to shut and to close that mouth when I tell you a secret. Whatever I tell you, you put your feet outside this door and everybody will know. Just don't talk about it. I told you to uskutu, to be silent. Don't talk about it. But you didn't do it. That's the easiest thing. Just shut that mouth and don't talk. Don't say what I'm telling you to others. Why do you expose our secrets? You go tell and it becomes a disaster on us. They come after us. Why? Because we believe in something they don't believe. They think we are a threat and they kill us because of you. In the time of Imam Kadhim, this is a very, very, very harsh narration that we have. Very hard narration, difficult narration that we have. So in the same narration that Imam Baqir alayhi salam says, that Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajal faraj. He says, please attention. He says that Imam Hossein was killed and the divine relief was delayed. He says it was delayed until the time of Imam Kadhim. For 70 years it was delayed. Only 70. In that time, it was about to happen. Faraj, we don't know exactly what it was, but Faraj, relief, was about to happen in that time, in the time of Imam Kadhim. But the companions exposed the secrets. They exposed the secret. We delayed Faraj because of that. So Faraj was about to happen in the time of Imam Kadhim. They exposed that secret. Look how important, look how significant this is. I'm not saying only about religious, but your own lives. You have to practice that. Your own lives and then religious things. I heard from a person, I don't know if it's right or if it's wrong. He said, in the government of US, they say if a Shia comes to you, immigration, and you ask something and they answer, ask another time, in a different way, in a different situation. Why? Because Shia have taqiyya, Shia have tawriyah. They can change the situation and they can not tell you the truth. They learned about this. This is a secret, taqiyya. What is it for? For saving our own lives. Ahl al-Bayt told us that you can do taqiyya to save your own lives, and now they know it. So what's the case of it? They know you're doing taqiyya. They know you're doing taqiyya, and you're doing taqiyya. It's exactly a parasite against each other. Taqiyya was for saving your lives, now they know it. I don't know if it's right, I don't know if it's wrong. But if it's right, that's one sir, that's one secret that they exposed. So that's what important, how important this is. In the time, we had one secret that wasn't exposed. One secret that wasn't exposed for 40 days. What was that secret in that time? In the time of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, after Imam Hussein was martyred, Bibi Ruqayya, the 3-year-old of Imam Hussein, didn't know that Imam Hussein was martyred in that time. They didn't know. Why? Because she was asleep at that time when Imam Hussein went to the bath. She was asleep at that time and she didn't know that Imam Hussein was martyred. That secret was kept until 40 days after. When we recite and when we see the maqtal, we find that the ladies and the women of Imam Hussein and those that were with Imam Hussein in the caravan of Imam Hussein, they were shocked. 3 people were shocked at 3 different times. The first person that was shocked in that time was Lady Zainab. When she went and saw the body of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, she was shocked at that body. I don't know what happened. What was the situation of Imam Hussein? A sister that knew Imam Hussein for 54 years couldn't recognize. She was shocked at that body. What did she say? She said, "Anta akhi? Are you my brother?" I don't know. I couldn't recognize. The second person that was shocked at that time was Lady Sakina. When she went to the Godal, when she went to the Maqtal, and she saw Lady Zainab, she had somebody in her body. She didn't know who he was. And she asked, she was shocked, "Hada na'ashu man? Who is this body for? Ya Amma, who is this?" They couldn't recognize. The own daughter of Imam Hussein couldn't recognize Imam Hussein. What happened to Imam Hussein? And the third person that was shocked in that time was Bibi Ruqayya in Sham. In that place that she was shocked. She was crying because she wanted her father. And they brought a dish. In that dish was the head of Imam Hussein. So when they brought it, and she saw that head, she shocked. "Hada ra'su man, hada ra'su ma." What is this head? Whose head is this? Bibi Zainab answered, "This is the head of your father, Imam Hussein." She was shocked. She started crying, but she didn't talk about her own difficulties in that situation. The first thing that she asked, she didn't see Imam Hussein for 40 days. She had answers, she had questions. The first thing that she asked is, "Ya abata, man alladhi khadhabaka?" Yo father, who was the person that colored your beard? And the second answer, I don't know how she was a small daughter, 3 years old only. Just imagine that a 3-year-old daughter, a 3-year-old girl, what does she know? She was with that head, and then she asked another question. This question burns us. What does she say? She says, "Ya abata, man alladhi qatta'a waridak?" Ya, oh father, who is that person that cut your veins? A 3-year-old girl knows that. And then after that, she starts and talks about herself. "Oh father, I didn't see you for 30 days. What happened to me in these 40 days?" She was saying about this. She said, "سخن آغاز کنم از دهنم یا گوشم که در اینجا دهنم زخم شد آنجا گوشم." Should I talk about my ears or should I talk about my mouth? 4 انگوش که مردانه و نامحرم بود. 4 fingers that it was manly, it was for an elder man, and it was a namahram. Puli از درد زده از دهنم تا گوشم. He hit me with that hand and it hurt my ear and my mouth at the same time. مثل پهلوی شکسته که رسید است به تو، من هم انگار که رفته است به زهرا گوشم. Just like you were inherited by your mother. At that time, you inherited what? Your pahlu, your side was crushed by the horses. My ear was ripped like your mother too. Your mother, her earways was ripped after Omar hit her in the face. Me too with Khuli. She's an only 3-year-old daughter. When Khuli hits her, her earways were ripped. After that happened, after this situation and that day, Bibi Ruqayya passed away. They wanted to give ghusl to Bibi Ruqayya in that time. So they invited it. They told the lady that she would do ghusl. And then between the ghusl, she stopped. She said, I won't do any ghusl. Why won't you do any ghusl? Because this girl has a disease. What disease? All of her body is black. She has a disease. I'm not going to do ghusl to her. Bibi Zainab told her, no, she didn't have a disease. Let me tell you the reason. Every time in this way that we were coming, in these 40 days that we were moving, we were coming to Sham, whenever she would say, Baba Hossein, Khuli would come and hit her until she was silenced. Everybody shout out, Ya Hossein! Ya Hossein.